terms of explosions?
So on March 7th, our officers were dispatched to a call in and around Kings Park area, someone calling in a loud explosion. And our frontline officers attended that area, and this was about 8 p.m. in the evening, and they did locate what they believed was some kind of explosive device that had been exploded in Kings Park near the bleachers in the open soccer field. Subsequent to that, on March 8th, many people called in another loud explosion, this time in and around the Carmi Elementary School area. Our officers attended there as well, and after some searching were also able to confirm some kind of explosive device, small in nature, that had been detonated also way out in the open field away from the school, and at which point we began to be a little bit concerned about what the motivation was for these explosions. On March 11th, our investigators located what they believed was another explosive device, an unsophisticated explosive device, I might add, in behind Carmi School along the creek near Industrial and Main. This area was cordoned off while we awaited for further specialized assistance from the explosive disposal unit, which that team came yesterday evening and was able to further investigate that device. They did, in order to make sure that it was safe and wouldn't cause any more harm, did cause it to explode twice, making sure that it was inert and wasn't going to cause any more harm while their investigation continued in that area.
And can you give us an example of what...
How seriously are you taking these in terms of how big of a threat to the public is it?
At this time, we don't believe it's a significant threat to the public. We are extremely concerned, however, of the motivations and where these little bombs are occurring. We're thankful that they are not occurring near buildings. They're not occurring near at times that children and other people are in those areas a lot, and so we're thankful for that, and we're investigating it further at this point. You know, we're taking it extremely seriously, and that's why we're bringing in specialized units, and we have many resources in our detachment devoted to bringing this case to some conclusion.
Now, when you had said that the bomb that you had found near the creek was a unsophisticated device, is that to say it's not a complex that anybody could have produced it, or?
Yeah, so when I say unsophisticated device, I'm saying it's a device that is small in nature, that anybody could be developing to experiment, you know, setting off small explosions, that kind of thing. So at this point, there's nothing that I can say to say that it was anything more than an unsophisticated device, small in nature, and lost my train of thought there. But
James, you said the overall the public should not be worried, but you guys are concerned. You know, what would you say to parents, maybe some dog walker residents who frequent these parks and these elementary schools pretty obviously actively? Is there anything that they should be looking out for, or is there any alerts that you would say to them?
So we are working very closely with the school district, with the schools, making sure that they're fully aware of these, what to look for in relation to these types of things, and not to go near anything that looks suspicious, to call police should they see anything that might be suspicious laying around. We're very thankful that they don't appear to be near where children are playing necessarily. They're far away from buildings, and the explosions themselves are occurring late into the evening, into the early morning hours. However, yes, I mean, people need to be vigilant, and we encourage people to call us, and don't go close to anything that might be suspicious, to simply call 911.
What would you say to the people if they're listening to this who are making these or exploding these? What kind of message would you like to give to them or that person?
Well, if the people that are, and it could be anyone really in the community who may be experimenting with these explosive devices, that they need to stop doing so, and that the RCMP, along with the specialized resources that we've brought into this community to help us with this case, will be making sure that it comes to some positive conclusion.
Would you like them to contact you, or would there be some fear of repercussions if they contacted you at this point?
No, absolutely not. If they would like to come in and explain, what they're doing, and that maybe it was just an innocuous experimentation, then we encourage anybody to do that, especially if they're the ones who are doing it. And if somebody knows of somebody that may be doing this, then they're encouraged to contact us as well.
Is that what you're thinking with these devices, that it looks like somebody who's a bit of a prankster is trying something out? Do you have a profile? Does it look like just one person?
Yeah, at this point, I can't go into any further details about the devices themselves. And we can't say if there's more than one person, whether they're male or female, whether they're teenagers or whether they're older people. At this point, I can't say.
Are they booby traps at all? Are any of them meant to be remotely detonated, or?
No. And so when I say unsophisticated, in order to detonate them, that person would have to be there at the time, would have to spend the time and activate it, and then it's not something that is remotely activated.
When you say that
James, where currently is the investigation? Is the RCMP bomb disposal unit still in town? And if they are, how much longer are they anticipated to be here for?
The investigation, as I said, we are knee deep into it, and all the resources are here, and they will be here until it comes to a safe conclusion.
And speaking of those resources, what additional resources have been brought in to assist in this investigation?
So we have our local general investigative section, and also some of our other plainclothes investigators in the area that are assisting with it, along with several investigators that come from the Lower Mainland, our headquarters that belong to the explosives unit.
And I guess, are there any other devices that you found after this time, aside from the ones you've mentioned before?
No, there hasn't been.
And is there the possibility that these explosions have been going on prior to these most recent ones?
So it is quite possible, given where we are in the investigation, that these explosions have been heard maybe for several months, in fact, and that maybe people have not called them in, or that officers have attended the area but maybe have not located these explosive devices. So we're unsure, but we want to make sure that if anybody does hear anything loud, to call 911, regardless of whether they think it's maybe just a car backfiring or something, so we can attend the scene right away to continue this investigation.
Do you have any idea how many incidents have been reported, or even roughly, of things that could be these explosions related to this?
Any more than what there have been people who have called in explosions over the past several weeks. However, those have not been confirmed as being explosions.
James, when the police did disarm, I guess you could say, disarm that bomb or the explosion by re-exploding it twice, is that something that is going to happen, that happens with every explosive that is found? And then on top of that, was the nearby residents who live in that area notified that the police would be doing that?
So I can't say how the explosives unit, how they operate. They obviously felt as though that was what they needed to do, and we want to make sure that our officers and the public are as safe as possible. So I can surmise that detonating it twice in the manner that they do was appropriate for what they saw there at the scene, in addition to how they were gathering evidence before they did that. But a press release was completed earlier yesterday before the explosives unit had arrived, notifying the public that our investigators were at that location and that location was cordoned off for the purpose of awaiting investigators from the bomb disposal unit or the explosives disposal unit. So there was no concern for public safety at that point.
Thank you.
And anything else that we've missed that you want to tell the public?
Let me just look at my notes. Yeah, no, I mean, basically, I'll just reiterate that we are actively investigating this. We have all the resources that we need, and then some, to further it. And we just want to make sure that the public keeps an eye out for anything suspicious. And don't go near anything that might look suspicious, and just call 911.
Thank you, James.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
How's the baby?